I'm 31M, and I fix things for a living. Not metaphorically, I'm talking literal repairs. Pipes, electrical, code, whatever's broken. I'm not flashy. I drive a used truck, I cook my own food, and I say exactly what I mean. My girlfriend of 8 months was basically the opposite of me in every way. Polished, image-obsessed, the kind of woman who curated every single thing about her public life, like it was a brand deal. I thought that was just her personality. Took me way too long to realize I was one of the things she was curating. We were solid. Or at least I thought we were. 8 months in, we'd met each other's families. I'd driven 40 minutes to fix her mom's leaking sink on a random Saturday. We spent weekends together, cooked together, the whole thing. I wasn't naive about the relationship. I knew she was private, and I respected that. Not everyone needs to post their relationship online. Fine by me. But then she said the thing that unraveled everything.
It was a Tuesday.
We were on her couch, takeout between us, completely normal night. She mentioned her company Christmas party coming up in 2 weeks, casually dropped it in like she was reading off a grocery list. Said I could come if I wanted. Then she added, just as casually, I've been telling people at work you're my friend, so just go with that. I put my fork down. Your friend, I said. It's just easier, she said. My coworkers are nosy, my boss is old-fashioned. I don't want my personal life becoming office gossip. I looked at her. 8 months. Her family knew me. Her mom called me when her dishwasher broke. And to every single person she worked with, people she spent more waking hours with than she spent with me, I was her friend. So introducing me as your boyfriend is embarrassing, I said. She didn't deny it. She tilted her head and said, it's not embarrassment. It's professionalism. Professionalism. Like I was a liability she was managing. I looked at her for a moment and said, I understand. And I did. I understood completely. Just not in the way she thought. Here's the thing she didn't know. A few weeks before this conversation, I'd met someone through my coworker's social circle, his wife's younger sister. She worked in marketing, sharp, funny, easy to talk to. We grabbed coffee twice after a group dinner, nothing romantic, just 2 people who got along well. When my girlfriend dropped the friend instruction on me, I called her the next morning. Random question, I said. You want to go to a Christmas party with me next Friday? She laughed. Whose party? My girlfriend's company party.
Pause.
Does your girlfriend know?
Not yet, I said.
I need a +1 who can play it cool. I'll explain everything. It's not shady, I promise. I just need someone to come with me. She thought about it for a second and said she was in. I think she was curious. I know I was. The 2 weeks before the party were their own kind of slow burn. My girlfriend texted me the dress code, sent me the venue address, even asked what color tie I was wearing so she could coordinate. The nerve of that, coordinate, while I was being told to pretend I barely knew her in front of her entire professional world. But I kept it normal. Responded like everything was fine. Didn't tip a single thing. Then she called me 3 days before the party with new instructions. Don't mention that we've been dating, she said. If anyone asks, just say we met through a mutual friend, and we hang out sometimes. We hang out sometimes. That's what 8 months had been reduced to.
Got it, I said.
And don't be weird about it, she added. Just be charming. You're good at that. She wanted me charming and invisible at the same time. A background actor in her professional life. I'll be exactly what you need me to be, I told her. Perfect, she said. I'll be honest, that word, perfect, sat with me the whole drive to pick up my date on the night of the party.
Perfect.
She had no idea. I picked my date up at 7. She looked great, no drama, ready to have a good time. On the drive over, I laid out the full situation. All of it, the 8 months, the friend label, the phone call 3 days ago with the updated instructions. She listened without interrupting. Then she said, So, what's the actual plan? No real plan, I said. We just show up. I'm her friend. You're my date. I do exactly what she asked, just applied consistently across the board. She smiled and said, You're cold. I'm just consistent, I said. The venue was a rented event space downtown. Exposed brick, Edison bulbs, open bar, the kind of place companies rent to seem more human. We walked in, and my girlfriend was near the entrance. She saw me first and started to smile. Then her eyes moved to my date standing next to me, and the smile just stopped. Didn't disappear, just froze in place. I walked straight to her, completely relaxed.
Hey, I said.
Great venue. This is my date. I gave her name. We met through a mutual friend, hang out sometimes. My girlfriend's mouth opened slightly, then closed. My date reached out and shook her hand. So nice to meet you. He talks about you. Does he? My girlfriend said, very quietly. As a friend, obviously, my date added, with a completely straight face. We moved into the party. My girlfriend drifted back toward her work crowd, and I could see her processing the whole thing in real time. The fixed smile, the wine glass held a little too tight, her eyes tracking me across the room every few minutes. I wasn't loud or theatrical about any of it. I just existed in that room exactly the way she'd asked me to, as her friend, with my own date, having my own conversations with her colleagues. And here's the thing about her coworkers. They were genuinely friendly. The real kind, not the professional event kind. They asked real questions. Her closest work friend came over within the first 30 minutes, the one who'd apparently heard about me more than once. Wait, you're the one who fixed her mom's sink, she said. That's me, I said. She talks about you all the time, she said. Then she glanced at my date, then back at me. Are you two? We're friends, I said. She and I have known each other about 8 months. I watched the work friend's eyes travel across the room to where my girlfriend was standing, then come back to me. Something landed behind her expression, not judgment, just math. The math didn't add up, and she was sharp enough to know it. The real moment came about 40 minutes in, near the bar. Her boss came and introduced himself, early 60s, firm handshake, the kind of man who's been reading rooms for decades. He asked how I knew his employee. We're friends, I said. Known each other about 8 months. 8 months, he repeated. And she brought you to the Christmas party. She invited me, I said simply. He nodded once. Then he looked at my date. And you two are together? Yes, my date said. I watched him do the math in about 4 seconds. He was too polished to say anything directly. He just nodded in a way that told me he'd filed everything away. My girlfriend appeared at my side about 30 seconds after he walked off. Can I talk to you? Not a question. We stepped into the hallway outside the main room. She kept her voice low and controlled, but her jaw was tight. What are you doing? She said. Being your friend, I said. Like you asked. You brought a date. Friends bring dates too. Parties, I said. I didn't realize that needed approval. You're doing this on purpose. I'm doing exactly what you asked me to do, I said. Is there a version of friend I'm misunderstanding? My boss is asking questions now. People are connecting things. What things? I said. We're friends. What is there to connect? She stepped closer and dropped her voice even further. I need you to just tell people we're close friends. That's all. Just go along with it. I've been telling people we're friends, I said. Every person I've spoken to tonight. Word for word, what you asked. Then why does everyone keep looking at me like? She stopped. Like what? I said. She couldn't finish it. Because she knew why. 8 months of stories don't just evaporate because you change the label. She'd told these people enough about me, mentioned me enough, referenced me enough, that showing up with a label of friend, while I stood there with a date, created a picture none of them could ignore. She stood there for a moment, and then something in her face shifted. The controlled exterior came down just slightly, and what came through was something more uncomfortable than anger. It was the look of someone caught in their own trap. And then she said it. I was embarrassed, she said. Okay? You don't. You're not what I told people my type was. You drive a used truck. You're not in my industry. You don't look like what I said I wanted. I know how that sounds. I know. Not professionalism. Not boundaries. Just flat-out embarrassment.
Of me.
Of who I was. I nodded slowly. Thank you for being honest, I said. Finally. Then I walked back inside, finished my drink, said goodbye to her work friend, who hugged me, which I genuinely did not see coming, thanked the host, and left with my date. In the parking lot, my date said, "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. "Actually, yeah, I really am." And I meant it, because hearing it said out loud, "You embarrass me," was almost a relief. It closed a door I'd been leaving cracked for 8 months. My girlfriend called the next morning. She wanted to talk, said she'd been wrong, said she could change, said her boss had pulled her aside at the end of the night to ask if everything was all right with her personally. She was spiraling, and I could hear it. But understanding someone's pain doesn't mean you're obligated to absorb it. "I think we both know what this is," I said. "Don't. We can fix this." "You can't fix 8 months of being someone's secret," I said. She went quiet. "Then, so that's it?" "That's it," I said. "That should have been the end. A clean, if painful, close." But she wasn't done. 3 weeks after we broke up, I got called into a meeting with HR at my job. My manager was there, the HR rep was there, and the mood was awkward in a very specific way. The way it gets when something has been documented that everyone in the room already knows is nonsense. Turns out my girlfriend had called my company's main line. Didn't call me.
Called the company.
Spoke to someone in HR and implied that I had brought a romantic companion to her professional event with the intention of humiliating her, and asked whether my employer had any awareness of my behavioral patterns. She tried to use my job as a weapon. I sat in that meeting completely calm and told them exactly what happened. The whole thing. The friend instruction, the party, the conversation in the hallway, all of it. I offered to provide texts, the conversation log, anything they needed. The HR rep was thorough, which I respected. They looked into it, found exactly what I told them they'd find. Nothing actionable, no policy violations, no pattern of anything, and closed the file within a week. But before they closed it, they confirmed for me who had made the call. I sat with that information for a few days. She tried to reach into my professional life, the one thing she'd been so fiercely protective of in her own world, and pull a thread, because she was still embarrassed. Just now at herself instead of me. I didn't call her, didn't text, didn't send a long emotional message. I called an attorney, a friend of a friend, real estate mostly, but he knew enough or knew who to call. I told him what happened and asked what my options were. He was straight with me. The HR call alone probably wouldn't support a strong civil lawsuit for damages, since I hadn't lost my job and my employer had handled it correctly. But he said a formal legal letter, properly drafted and sent to her home address, citing potential tortious interference and harassment, and clearly stating that any further contact with my employer or professional network would result in formal legal action. That was worth doing. He drafted it in 2 days. 2 pages, precise language, real statutes cited. Sent via certified mail. About 3 weeks after the letter arrived, her work friend, the one who'd hugged me at the party, sent me a message out of nowhere. She said she didn't want to get in the middle of anything, but felt like I should know that my ex had shown the letter to people at the office, apparently looking for sympathy and validation.
It backfired.
Her colleagues now knew she had called my employer over a Christmas party. Her boss found out. He didn't fire her, but the conversation he had with her behind closed doors was apparently not a short one. The image she'd spent years building, composed, professional, above petty drama, cracked. Not because I went after her. Because she handed people the evidence herself and asked them to take her side with it. I won't pretend I felt some triumphant rush about any of it. That's not really what it felt like. It felt like finally putting down something heavy that you'd been carrying so long you forgot it wasn't yours to carry. My date from the party, and I have had dinner twice since then. No performance, no image management.
She knows what I drive.
She really doesn't care. Here's what I know now. When someone shows you how they actually see you, not who you are but what you represent to their carefully managed image, believe them.
Don't explain it away. Don't give it more time.
The moment she said professionalism instead of I'm sorry, the answer was already there. I just needed her to say it in the hallway of a Christmas party to a room full of her coworkers to finally hear it. If this story made you feel something, subscribe, because apparently some of us are still out here getting our relationship status downgraded to friend and showing up to Christmas parties anyway.